Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Living Fiercely. I am Tiana DeRay, and I help ambitious entrepreneurs, founders, and business owners build businesses that don't fall apart the moment things get hard. And today we are talking about one thing that every founder underestimates, and that is integrity. And no, this is not going to be some moral speech episode. This is going to be about practical power that directly creates outcomes in your business. Your word is your currency. And if that currency is worthless, your business will be worthless too. And let me explain that. A lot of entrepreneurs and people think they can just cut corners and get away with it. And yeah, sure, you can for a short time. But if you overpromise, underdeliver, hide your mistakes, then eventually your clients will leave you. Your team will lose faith and the deals will just dry up. So if you are playing a long-term game and want success long-term, integrity is not optional. It should be your foundation. And if your foundation cracks, everything that you build will eventually collapse. So let's get into how integrity becomes the secret weapon that makes you unshakable and profitable. But first, I want to say, if you are enjoying this content, click that subscribe button so you don't miss a podcast episode. And please go share this with someone who is building something meaningful and needs to hear this message. Now, back to that integrity gap. I call it integrity gap because most people believe that they do have integrity, but their actions actually prove otherwise. And here's a little test for you. Do you keep promises to yourself? You say that you are going to launch a product and at the end you don't do it. You set a revenue target and you quit halfway. Or maybe you promise your client something and you miss the deadline. That is not integrity, my friend. That is avoidance that's pretending to be ambition. So the gap we are talking about is simple. It's the space between what you say you want and what you actually do. And that gap is destroying trust with clients, with your team, and ultimately with yourself as well. So I want you to think about the last time someone let you down. You didn't fully trust them again, right? The same things happen to your customers and the team when you break promises, and also with yourself. That is where lack of confidence in yourself comes from breaking your own promises. But listen, here's the upside. Integrity compounds. So when you do right by someone today, they will remember that. Deliver what you said and your credibility will grow. When you own your mistakes, people will just respect you more. Integrity isn't about being a perfect person. It's about your actions matching your word. That's all that it is. So that's how trust stacks. And that's how people will start betting on you. And when people start betting on you, your business becomes easier. And this is why integrity makes you more money. So when people trust your brand, they buy more, they pay more, they ask less questions, and they stay longer. Trust is the profit. Trust is the leverage. And that is how you scale without begging. And I'll give you an example. Look at Apple. People line up to buy their phones and are happy to pay over $1,000 for them, not because they need this super expensive phone, but because they trust the experience, they trust the quality, and they just trust the brand promise every time. And that is how integrity translates into revenue. You don't need to scream for attention when people believe you. You don't need to disconnect when your word already holds value. Integrity lets you charge premium price because trust is the premium. Trust is rare. And integrity also attracts higher caliber people. Winners don't want to work with liars. They want leaders whose word actually means something. So when your team believes you, their output will increase, the stress will drop, and the results will compound. And also, on the other hand, when you eliminate cutting corners as an option, you are forced to get better. You are forced to innovate, and you're forced to operate from real value instead of shortcut. And sure, short-term lying and dishonesty may seem as a fast track sometimes, but long-term integrity is what builds legacy. Now, I want to talk about the compound effect of integrity. So here is the truth. Integrity compounds both ways. So every promise that you keep builds reputation. That reputation leads to referrals, faster closes, and lower marketing costs. So it means repeat customers who trust you enough to buy more. Retention beats acquisition. When people stay, your lifetime value rises and your business scales easier. Integrity drives retention. And inside your company, integrity will build self-trust. If you keep your word to yourself, if you show up, finish the work, hit the deadline, you stop second guessing, and you make decisions faster, you will start making bigger bets. People who don't keep promises get paralyzed. They hesitate, they overcheck, they fail when the speed matters. Integrity gives you speed, and speed ultimately wins. So yes, integrity is quiet, but it scales like compound interest. Do the work today and watch how the return shows up in weeks, months, and years to come. And now we're going to see how to build integrity into your business. So, practical. How do you build this integrity into your business? I'm going to give you several steps. First one is stop overpromising. Promise less, deliver more. It's a known old advice, under promise and over deliver, and it's old because it works. You need to set realistic timelines and beat them. Second, own your mistakes immediately. When you screw up, just say it. Apologize, own it. Just say, hey, I messed up something. People respect when you take responsibility quickly and directly, not when you're trying to explain, excuse, or twist it. Third, measure integrity. Track deadlines, delivery rates, client satisfaction. If you measure it, you can manage it. Make those numbers part of your leadership dashboard. Fourth, build it into culture. So you need to celebrate people who follow through, call out behaviors that cut corners. Culture is made of what you tolerate and reward. It's simple as that. 5, you need to fire the wrong clients. And yes, we all need that business. But if a client asks you to compromise your standards, you need to walk away. Yes, even if it's a big client, because ultimately compromising yourself and your values sets a price on you. And once you are for sale, you will lose that leverage forever. Again, we are talking here about your long-term success and long-term gain. 6th, make promises small and explicit. So vague commitments are escape routes. You need to be specific, set specific dates, specific deliverables, specific outcomes. And then when expectations are clear, your accountability will naturally follow. And 7, and last one, is you need to coach your team to be over communicators. So if something is late, communicate with the client early up and create a plan. Under communication will kill trust faster than failure ever will. And if you do all of these things, you will run a machine that is built on trust and credibility. You need to think of the long game. So short-term thinking might get you a quick win here and there, but long-term integrity is what builds a brand that people will actually trust. So, sure, cutting corners might get you some faster short term results, but eventually it will come back to you in ways of lawsuits, public backlash, team quitting, and just damaged reputation. So, you need to make your word mean something every time. And not only when it's easy. And when you operate from that place of integrity, opportunities will naturally come to you because people want to work with you. And that's when deals start to move faster because trust is already there. And sure, short term thinking can win you a client or two or a few and keep you in business for a couple months or a couple years. But if you want to build a brand, that's where you need that long term integrity. And like I said, you can build a business fast with a hype and illusion and fake promises, but it won't last long. Real empires and real success is built on truth, consistency, and earned trust, not some smoke and mirrors. Integrity isn't soft. Integrity is your strategy and it's leverage at the end of the day. It is the thing that makes your work undeniable. And your word is your brand positioning. Your reputation becomes your power. And integrity ultimately is advantage that most entrepreneurs unfortunately never commit to because they're so eager to come to that success. And that's why a lot of them will lose. You need to decide once what you stand for and then live it out daily because that's where your real authority is going to come from. This was another episode of Living Fiercely, and I'm Tiana Del Rey. If this episode shifted something inside of you, please click that follow button, give it a review, and share it with one entrepreneur who already wants to lead at a higher level. Until next episode, remember, your word is the foundation you build your empire on.